Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatya Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Recording in
Rama,
progress.
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna devotees, thank you so much for joining us today for the sixth lesson of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita wonderfully describes the incidents in the life of Srila Prabhupada, which are very encouraging and inspiring for all of us. In the previous sessions, we learned how Srila Prabhupada in 1922, while he was doing his college in Calcutta, one of his friends, Narendra Malik, introduced him to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And at that time, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur inspired Srila Prabhupada about importance of Krishna consciousness in one's life. Prabhupada ji was very much attracted, Abhaycharan at that time was very much attracted by Mahatma Gandhi. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained Srila Prabhupada how Krishna consciousness is the utmost important need of humanity. And Krishna consciousness is the only way by which one can get freedom from the repeated cycle of birth and death, and the real solution for all the miseries of the material world is Krishna consciousness. When Srila Prabhupada Abhaycharan at that time learned from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it had a great impact on his mind actually. And he then frequently visited Gaudiya Math, which was established by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And after that meeting from 1922 until another 10 years or so, Abhaycharan did not meet Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In the meantime, he got married. He had a wife. Her name was Radharani. Abhaycharan, his wife, and his son, Prayagraj, they moved from Calcutta to Allahabad, Prayag, and Abhaycharan started a pharmacy business there. Now, Abhaycharan, pharmacy was doing well, but because of too much debt, he had to leave that pharmacy. During that time, he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur for a second time in Vrindavan. And then he also took initiation from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1932. Now, because of the debt, he had to leave his Prayagraj pharmacy. He was not doing well there. So he relocated himself to Mumbai and started a manufacturing company, and his family stayed in Calcutta. And in while he was in Mumbai also, he was helping members of Gaudiya Math to re-establish their center. And he was initiated now, and he was writing articles for Harmonist magazine, which used to be published by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Abhay Charan was trying to establish his business so that he can generate Lakshmi and support his family as well as support Gaudiya Math, which is the mission of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. After that, he traveled frequently to Calcutta so that he can meet Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and I think he met about 10 to 12 times, a dozen times to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur during that visit. And during that time, his father passed away, Gaur Mohan Dey, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur always expressed concern to Abhay Charan that members of Gaudiya Math, devotees, they were fighting with each other. And he was worried that one day this Gaudiya Math will collapse. And he always told Abhay Charan that if you ever get money, publish books. If you ever get money, publish books. If you ever get money, publish books. And this got imbibed in the mind of Abhay Charan. Meanwhile, Abhay Charan, his pharmacy business in Mumbai also didn't do well. So he relocated back to Calcutta, and in a 3-story building, he rented first floor for his pharmacy business. He started manufacturing some medications. And on the 3rd floor, his family used to stay. And he used to travel all over. He was struggling with his business life. He always wanted to be a big businessman, but he always had a struggle. And his wife and children, they were staying with them. Abhay was more now into looking after the family, business development, as well as he was helping Sridhar Maharaj for preaching in Calcutta. And so on the 2nd floor of the same building, so 1st floor is his office, 2nd floor is Sridhar Maharaj renting the floor, and then 3rd floor Abhay staying. And that's where he got more association with the senior devotees like Sridhar Maharaj. And Abhay Charan used to help them out in the preaching. Now, Abhay Charan was more interested in preaching aspect, but his family was not cooperative at that time. And in general, like Abhay Charan, whenever he met anybody, he was always talking about Krishna consciousness. He was not talking to anybody about business. And in that time, there was a war going on, Second World War, and there used to be like lots of bombs being thrown everywhere around in Bharatvarsha. Also in Calcutta, where Abhay Charan was staying, there was lots of bombing was going on at that time. And at that time, Abhay Charan launched Back to Godhead magazine. And when he launched this Back to Godhead magazine, he himself single-handedly, he published the magazine, he printed, he wrote, he proofread, print. But then there was a problem with the magazine was that the paper was not available as this was like a Second World War. But after a lot of struggle, then he could acquire some paper to publish the Back to Godhead magazine. In Back to Godhead magazine, the central theme was Krishna consciousness. Abhay Charan could only publish 2 editions of Back to Godhead magazine, but then the paper and the financial things were not very good. At that time, Abhay Charan got a dream one day. In his dream, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came and told Abhay Charan to take sannyas. But Abhay Charan was not ready at that time. He was more focused on the business. So now Abhay Charan decided to start a big business in Lucknow. So he moved from Calcutta now to Lucknow. And he rented a big place, big factory, invested about 40,000 rupees at that time. And but still, like, he was struggling in his business, and his family was not cooperating, and there was a lot of struggle. Abhay Charan had a conflict in his mind. He said, I'm working so hard for the family. Family is not interested in Krishna consciousness. Wife and children didn't cooperate. They didn't even cooperate in helping him for his business also. So Abhay Charan thought that what is the use? The family was interested neither in backing him into business nor in taking up the life of devotional service. And since his business was primarily an outcome of his family life, he resented that he had to give so much of his energy. It was the old economic law by Marshall that he had learned in the college. Without family affection, a man's economic impetus is weakened. So Abhay Charan was less interested in this materialistic way of living, and he thought that now is the time to dedicate more time for the preaching. So that's where we stopped last time. So in the last 13-14 minutes, we summarized all the 5 chapters of Prabhupada Lilamrita, and now we will talk about the 6th chapter, which is known as an unknown friend. So in this chapter, we learn about how Abhay Charan, in spite of his business struggles, in spite of lack of cooperation from the family, he had deep resolve, determination to keep on spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. Now, Abhay Charan, as of now, he is helping in preaching Sridhar Maharaj or other members of Gaudiya Math, but he is at a distance from the Gaudiya Math. He is not the integral part of the Gaudiya Math. Abhay Charan has got 2 initiations, Diksha, first and second, and now his name is Abhay Charanaravinda. But he is not the integral administrative member of Gaudiya Math. He is by himself from the beginning actually. He is an outsider helping to spread the message of Krishna consciousness, mainly through his financial contribution as well as through his writing in English. And there is this chapter begins with this wonderful sentence about Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri wrote this sentence, how preaching should be done. So Vidura Prabhu, you want to read this?
Sure, Prabhuji. Let the sharp moralists accuse me of being illusioned. I do not mind. Experts in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Mammonites may point me out as mad, and the learned philosophers may assert that I am much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I am unable to do it. Madhavendra.
This chapter begins with this wonderful paragraph. So here we can see that Madhavendra Puri is saying that no matter what people are saying, I don't care for it. My aim is to serve Lord Shri Krishna. And the same determination Srila Prabhupada had. He had lots of trouble with his business. Family was not cooperating. So nothing was working in his favor. But he had this deep desire from his Guru's instruction that answer to all the problems of human life is through Krishna consciousness. And while those bombs were falling in the Calcutta and surrounding region, Abhay Charan had a deep belief that only Krishna consciousness can save everybody from these calamities, Second World War also. So Abhay Charan had this great determination to help. At that time, now we are entering into the year 1946. So Abhay Charan is almost 50 years old at this time. And at that time, India's independence movement was going on. In 1947, India got independence. there was a division of India, partition of India, and India was separated into India and Pakistan. And at that time, there were widespread violence all over between Hindus and Muslims, and a lot of people died. Initial hope was that when the partition will be there, people will less suffer, but the suffering was more even after the partition. And they say that about 4,000 people died in Calcutta just because of this Hindu-Muslim violence. And there was a lot of people migrating from one country to another. Refugees were fleeing from India to Pakistan and Pakistan to India. And these refugees were also fighting with each other. Even they were fighting with their own countrymen who were the faith, Hindu Muslim. So the violence was going on everywhere. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is observing. And Prabhupada ji always was deep thinking. Srila Prabhupada ji says, Sujata Mataji, you want to read this? Prabhupada ji's I can't hear you, Mataji. We cannot hear you somehow. Or you're muted now.
But
yes, but not clearly. Vidura Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Role of political leaders. Śrīla Prabhupada. Our independence movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi ji for uniting all the different sections of the people. But actually, the result was that instead of being united, India was partitioned, and the partition became so poisonous that formerly there was only sporadic Hindu-Muslim riots in some places, but now there was organized fighting between Pakistan and Hindustan. So actually, we were not being united; we were being separated.
Srila Prabhupada says that this independence movement was to unite everybody, but this Gandhiji's idea didn't work out, and people were fighting and killing each other more than ever before. Abhay had this vision that how can we unite? And Srila Prabhupada says here, the Hindus would go to the mosque of Muslims. Sujata Mata, you want to try? If you're...
Prabhuji, can you hear me now?
yes, this is much better. Yes.
Okay. Abhai's vision of unity, Srila Prabhupada. The Hindus would go to the mosque of the Muslim and break it. And the Muslim would go to the temples of the Hindus and break the idol. And they will think, we have finished the Hindus' God. Just like the Hindus also think, oh, we have broken their God. They are all ignorant. God cannot be Hindu. God cannot be Muslim. God cannot be Christian. God is God. Right.
So very nice, thank you. So here we see that the history repeats itself, right? Nowadays also we see the same thing. People trying to destroy each other. Recently there was in Bangladesh, they're trying to attack all the ISKCON temples and trying to destroy the deities. So Prabhupada is saying that this hatredness is because of lack of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada had this vision, and he had vision that if we unite everybody under Krishna consciousness, then people will be united. There won't be any fighting. They were trying to fight and kill each other. Srila Prabhupada says, we have seen in 1947 Hindu-Muslim fighting. One party was Hindu, other party was Muslim. They fought, and so many died. And after death, there was no distinction who was Hindu or who was Muslim. The Muslim man gathered them and together in piles to throw them somewhere. They fought, and in Big Bazaar, there were heaps of dead bodies. And when it is dead body, Nobody could understand who was Hindu and who was Muslim. Simply it was to be cleared from the road. See what a pathetic situation it is. While we are living, some people think I'm Hindu, one this and that. Once dead, that body cannot be Hindu or Muslim. It's all just dead body. So here Prabhupada is saying that during the riots, hundreds and thousands were dying, and after death, nobody cared whether that was Hindu or Muslim. They had to just finish them off from there. Right? So Prabhupada had all his. So all this Prabhupada wrote actually, and he published in quite a few letters. Some of the letters published, some did not publish, but he kept the record of all this. But his main thing was that he was insisting upon preaching and writing. And Abhay Charan's most ambitious project was translation of Bhagavad-gita, explanation in English language. It was called Gita-Upanishad. And Gandhi and others often spoke of Bhagavad-gita. Indians remembered Bhagavad-gita, but what happened was that most of the people who were telling Bhagavad-gita, they were not teaching what was taught by Lord Krishna. They were not giving Bhagavad-gita as it is. They would not even recognize Lord Krishna who was the speaker of the Bhagavad-gita. They would not recognize Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. They would extract the things from Bhagavad-gita and then try to propagate their own philosophy. This is what Śrīla Prabhupada, Abhay Charan didn't like, that they did not present the Bhagavad-gita as it is. So Abhay, he wanted to present Bhagavad-gita as it is. It was like what he did is that during the time he wrote it with his hand and then typed it and edited it. And he wrote almost 1200 pages with illustrations in it. That was his plan. So Abhay always had this desire to write books. And we can see that from the beginning, since his 1932, he started writing for the Harmonist magazine. He's still writing until 1947. In between, he has published 2 Back to Godhead magazines of his own. And then he has published some articles in the Harmonist. So he is keen on writing. And over the past 2 years, he had accumulated hundreds of manuscripts of pages of Gita-Upanishad. He wrote in notebooks on the loose pages, then typed the numbered manuscript pages. He could never give the book his full time, but gradually it began to take shape. So he was keenly interested in publishing this Gita-Upanishad. And then at the same time, Abhay Charan was writing letters to many leaders in government organizations, to respectable personalities, and to the people whose articles he had read or whose activities had caught his eyes in the newspaper. And what he would write, so if somebody writes an article in the newspaper, Abhay would read and reply to them with Krishna consciousness perspective, that how Krishna consciousness could answer that question. He would write to many political leaders in British government or to many freedom fighter leaders, that how Krishna consciousness can solve. But then he never got reply from anybody of them. Abhay still continued writing, and he always had this thought that, oh, can I collaborate with some people who are interested in changing the society? So Abhay Charan, there was a great personality. His name was Mahendra Pratap Raja. So he was a reformer, and he was forming what he called as a world federation. So this Mahendra Pratap Raja, reformer, he made a society actually. And Abhay had read some articles in which Mr. Pratap had published from Vrindavan. He addressed that all the nations and peoples of the world and called for the human unity, mankind unity. So Abhay Charan wrote to him, suggesting that Krishna consciousness from Bhagavad-gita can unite everybody. So Mahendra Pratap didn't appreciate his idea of Krishna. Whenever he says Krishna to somebody, people don't accept his idea because they think that it is like a sectarian, right? So they did not accept his ideas. But still, Abhay continued writing letters to all these people who were. So in 1947, Abhay proposed spiritual solutions like Harinam Kirtana to address communal riots. But the government officials dismissed his efforts with polite rejections or indifference. Abhay wrote to some political leaders in the government that all this fighting is going on in the world. It can be resolved if we take Krishna consciousness to Kirtana. But nobody replied or considered him seriously. Only some people, like there was one personality, N.P. Asthana, he showed genuine interest in his ideas. And despite this, Abhay remained committed to his Vaishnava preaching activities. So Abhay continued preaching through the letters, always hoped that somebody will help me out and spread the Krishna consciousness, continued writing Gita Upanishad. And many of his things didn't got published, but he kept a record of every writing. Abhay wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi even. And here's a very famous letter. Of course, Abhay never got a reply from Mahatma Gandhi, and likelihood that the letter which he wrote to Gandhi did not reach to Gandhi at all. So Abhay knew that his letters are not reaching Gandhi, or Abhay knew that Gandhi will not probably read his letter, but still Abhay thought of writing it to him. So because Gandhi was too busy, right? So he hardly had read letters from so many people. But still Abhay wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi. And here's the letter. Maybe Hare Krishna Mamtaji, welcome.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Sorry, I got delayed.
No problem. You want to read this letter?
Yes. Dear friend Mahatma Ji, please accept my humble namaskar. I am your unknown friend, but I had to write to you at times and again, although you never cared to reply them. I sent you my paper back to Godhead, but your secretary told me that you have very little time to read the letter and much less for reading the message. I asked for an interview with you, but your busy secretary never cared to reply this anyway. As I am your very old friend, although unknown to you, I am writing to you in order to bring you to the rightful position reserved by you. As a sincere friend, I must not deviate from you my duties towards a friend like you. Your good side.
Thank you,
I have sorry.
So here, Abhay Charan, he writes a letter to Mahatma Gandhi. He thinks himself as a good friend or well-wisher of Gandhi. Abhay Charan always had this great respect for Mahatma Gandhi. And Gandhi was a politician among saint or saint among politicians. This was always a debatable, right? Whether he was saint into politics or politician having some saintly quality. But Abhay Charan always thought himself as a friend, but it's like a one-way friendship because Gandhi did not know Abhay Charan at that time. And Abhay Charan already had sent some letters to Gandhi, but the secretary told that Gandhi doesn't have time to read all this. He also sent in the magazine. So now Abhay Charan is writing a last letter to Gandhi before Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated actually. Very interesting letter this is. And he says that I'm writing this letter to you because I want to bring you to the rightful position because you are deviated from your duty. So here Abhay is writing a letter to Gandhi and saying that I tell you as a sincere friend that you must immediately retire from politics, active politics. If you do not desire to die an inglorious death, you have 125 years to live as you have desired to live. But if you die an inglorious death, it is no worth. The honor and prestige that you have obtained during the course of your present lifetime were not possible to be obtained by anyone else within the living memory. But you must know that all these honors and prestiges were false as much as they were created by illusionary energy of Godhead called Maya. By this falsity, I do not mean to say that your so many friends were false to you, nor you were false to them. By this falsity, I mean illusion, or in other words, the false friendship and honors obtained thereby were but creation of Maya, and therefore they are always temporary or false, as you may call it. But none of you, neither your friends nor yourself, know this truth. So here, Abhay Charan is telling Gandhi that Mahatma Gandhi, you are known all over the world. You are very famous, and this name, fame, power, prestige is also an illusion. Because as soon as this body is finished, all name, fame, power, prestige will be done, finished. Then what will happen? Actually, the real purpose of human life is to care for the soul. And you're spending all the time for the body. Take up Krishna consciousness, he was telling to Gandhi. So his Abhay is very serious about it. Abhay further says that now by the grace of God, that illusion is going to be cleared. And thus, your faithful friends like Acharya Kriplani and others are accusing you of your inability at present moment to give them any practical program of work, as you happen to give them during the glorious days of non-cooperative movement. So you're also in a plight to find out a proper solution for the present political tangle created by your opponents. You should therefore take a note of warning from your insignificant friend like me, that unless you retire timely from the politics and engage yourself 100% in the preaching work of Bhagavad-gita, which is the real function of Mahatmas, you shall have met with such inglorious death as Mussolini, Hitler, or Lloyd George Patton. So here, Abhay is very, very critical. And he's saying that, you have worked so long to unite people, but now people within your Congress party also are opposing you. They do not want your help there. Even though Abhay says, I am very insignificant, I want you to give up your politics and join full-time into Bhakti, Krishna Consciousness. Otherwise, somebody will come and kill you untimely. Because Gandhi had a lot of threat at that time also. Everybody was not happy with Gandhi, and there were threats to the Gandhi's life. So Abhay Charan had also idea about this, that Gandhi had a threat. So he said, somebody might come and kill you. Before that happens, you take up Bhakti and preach Bhagavad-gita. Right? So Abhay Charan knew that Gandhi was very famous. And if Gandhi takes to Bhakti, Krishna Consciousness, then it will be easy to spread Krishna Consciousness message. So here, Abhay Charan, by himself, without any support from anybody, no Gaudiya support, nobody's support, no family support, no society support, no government support, but only with his own determination, he's spreading Krishna consciousness and he's writing the letters to people one after another. Here is another paragraph. Vidura Prabhu, can you read it?
Sure, Prabhuji. You can easily understand as to how some of your political enemies in the garb of friends, both Indian and English, have deliberately cheated you and have broken your heart by doing the same mischiefs for which you have struggled so hard for so many years. You wanted chiefly Hindu-Muslim unity in India, and they have tactfully managed to, to undo your work by creation of the Pakistan and India separately. You wanted freedom for India, but they have given permanent dependence of India. You wanted to do something for the upliftment of the position of the Bhangis, but they are still rotting as Bhangis, even though you are living in the Bhangi colony. They are all therefore illusions, and when these things will be presented to you as they are, you must consider them as God sent. God has favored you by dissipating the illusion you were hovering in, and by the same illusion you are nursing those ideas as truth.
Thank you, Prabhu. You see, the letter is very critical. He's saying that, you see, those whom you were considering the friend, they are cheating you. You wanted to unite the Hindu Muslims, but that has not happened. India Pakistan is created, and people are killing each other. You wanted to look after this Harijan, people who were cleaning the streets and toilets and everything. People were not respecting them. So Mahatma Gandhi wanted to call them Harijan, but see, he said, that also is not happening. People are not even still looking after them with respect. You are staying with them, but nobody is helping. So he is saying that, Abhay Charan is saying to Gandhi, that Gandhi, you are under great illusion. Please get out of this and surrender to Lord Krishna unless before anything untoward thing happens to your life. And here is the last paragraph of this letter. Sujata Mata, you want to read? You're muted, Mataji.
Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would only request you to retire from politics at least for a month only, and let us have discussion on the Bhagavad-gita. I am sure thereby that you shall get a new life from the result of such discussion, not only for your benefit, but for the benefit of the world at large. As I know that you are sincere, honest, and moralist. Awaiting your early reply with interest. Yours sincerely, Abhay Charan Dev.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you. So here, Abhay Charan writes a big letter to Mahatma Gandhi. Of course, there was no reply from Gandhi. But a month after writing this letter, Gandhi was assassinated actually, and he was killed by somebody with a gun, and he died. Which was Abhay had written in the letter that something like this will happen, and before something like that happened, you completely surrender to Krishna and become Krishna conscious. But Gandhi never replied. But then there was a discussion by some great leaders about how to honor Gandhi's legacy, and at that time also Abhay Charan gave them an idea, and he proposed letters. He wrote the letter to the leaders of the Congress party like Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel and all. He said that Gandhi had everyday daily prayers, and Gandhi read Bhagavad-gita. So he said, Abhay Charan said that, if you really want to honor Gandhi, have Harinam Kirtan every day, everywhere, and spread Bhagavad-gita's message. His idea was that all the temples, everybody should be reorganized, and spiritual culture of Bharatvarsha should be revived again. Now, Abhay wanted to publish Gita Upanishad. So there was Mr. Chetty. He met Abhay Charan in Calcutta, and he was impressed by Abhay's writing, and he said, I will help you in publishing this Gita Upanishad. And he got one Dr. Alagappa to support financially to publish the Gita Upanishad. And Abhay Charan was really, really happy. But unfortunately, at that time, the manuscript of Gita Upanishad, 1200-page manuscript, Abhay Charan wrote, typed everything, and kept it ready with illustrations. Somebody stole it actually. That was the only copy he had prepared. And what an unfortunate thing. Abhay Charan wanted to publish, there were people helping, ready to help him publish, but Abhay Charan, when he went to find the book or manuscript, it was stolen. Despite his suspicion about the theft, he found no proof, leading to frustration and feeling of futility. Abhay Charan thought that somebody stole this manuscript and sold it and generated some money, but who would do that? Abhay Charan had no idea. So it was all the hard work of Abhay Charan was gone. At the same time, there were professional setbacks to Abhay. Abhay struggled economically. He had to close down now his Lucknow factory also because the sales were declining and the debt was there. And he then attempted to manage a small factory. Again, he went back to Prayagraj. So where he started, and then he started some factory to manufacture medicines. But again, it didn't work out. Nothing was working for Abhay financially or materially, and at that time also, Abhay again got a second time a dream in his sleep. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came and said to Abhay, Abhay, take sannyas now. Nothing is working out for you. Why are you struggling? But Abhay continued his struggle, financial struggle, as well as his resolve to devote himself for preaching Krishna consciousness was still there. Well, family dynamics here was not good actually. Abhay was traveling and at the same time he distanced himself for spiritual pursuits. His family faced financial uncertainties. And at a certain point, his wife, Abhay Charan now in his early 50s, 51, 52. And his wife, he decides that, okay, she's going to move back to her father's place actually, because Abhay is not able to afford all the expenses. And there was a strain between his spiritual commitments, family responsibilities. So Abhay was really now, he was like stressed out, because how he can manage the finances. One thing I would like to point out is here is that you see, Abhay Charan has no easy life. What we might be, like all of us are very comfortably situated, right? You have a good job and we're chanting, and maybe our families are cooperating us in the Krishna consciousness. We have all the books and we have the temple and we have everything here. Abhay Charan has none of this. He has no money, no job, no proper job. Like he's trying to establish himself business-wise, but business is not working. His family is not cooperating. There is a social imbalance, like society also, there was fight, Hindu-Muslim fight and war and crime, and it's not so fun. What do you think, Vidura Prabhu?
No, it is significantly tough. Like we can only imagine what he was going through, but we cannot experience it all.
It's very challenging for Prabhupada, Abhay Charan, to maintain his we are chanting 16 rounds, right? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur stretched 64 rounds, right? So that is like 8 hours of chanting, plus writing these letters, writing this translation of the books, managing his business, traveling for his business, looking after his family, and this social chaos, like, Second World War and Hindu-Muslim fights. When these fights go on, there are a lot of problems. You don't get grocery, transportation problem. Life is not easy as we can't even think about it. like there is a fight and a war going in the community members, and you think about Krishna and write the books, you will be all the time worried, like if somebody might attack my home or my family, or do you agree with that, Sujata Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is not easy life that Srila Prabhupada had.
Like everything is very, very challenging for Abhay Charan, Like I can't even think of chanting 16 rounds in that mind setup. Abhay Charan was chanting 64 rounds. This is not mentioned in the book, but this is what I understand, that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had this requirement of 64 rounds for anybody to be initiated even. Right? Am I correct, Vidura Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
He was very strict. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was no lenient like Abhay. Like Prabhupada was lenient, okay, chant 16 rounds. But that was not the case at that time. It was like 64 rounds is like 8 hours of your day chanting. Can we imagine we can chant 64 rounds every day?
How is that possible for Srila Prabhupada Prabhu?
I don't know. See how he was managing, right? He had a difficulty in his business, family, his spiritual commitments. He was writing the letters, and he was not associated with Gaudiya Math like we all are. Some of us are visiting temples every Sunday. We have so much association with the devotees. We have a guidance from the internet, like so many devotees are giving the classes, and we are able to associate with them. Abhay Charan has none of this. So much negatives, like disadvantage to Abhay Charan. So still, like I'm just really perplexed reading this life story of Srila Prabhupada, Abhay Charan, that how did he manage all these things? I just can't think about it. Right? It is beyond our imagination. Here, the family struggle is there. His wife is not happy with him. The children are not happy with him. The business is not working out well. He's not able to preach. Even he's like sending the letters to the people, the great personalities, and nobody's replying his letters. He's trying to send the message to Gandhi. Nobody's replying. He's trying to collaborate with other people. Nothing is working out, right? And he wrote the whole manuscript of Gita Upanishad got stolen, actually. That is like his dream project that he wanted to publish Bhagavad-gita as it is. What can be a worse setback than all this, right? And if I would have been there, I would be devastated. Like, what's going on here, right? But here is the Abhay Charan holding his balance, like this unbelievable story of Srila Prabhupada. Abhay interpreted his hardship as divine preparation for preaching. Abhay always had this, he was very good reader of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, Upanishad, and he thought that, Krishna is trying to prepare me through all these lessons. And viewing material losses as a path to a greater spiritual highlight, insight in his life. He felt that his diminishing material success was guided by Krishna to focus on spreading his spiritual teachings, right? So he thought that, what he was doing, he was failing materially very badly, facing all these struggles, but he thought that Krishna is wanting something higher. And, Mata Kunti says that give me more trouble, more calamities so that I can remember you, Krishna, more. And same mood Srila Prabhupada is having, that no matter what, I will continue remembering Krishna. And Prabhupada, Abhay Charan had this idea that Krishna consciousness is the only solution. So his financial struggles continues. He frequently sent money to support his family despite financial difficulties. He faced criticism for prioritizing his spiritual writings over his family responsibilities. Now, Abhay Charan, his life is now more he's staying a little away from his family because of his business-related commitments. Like he has now moved back to Allahabad, family is in Calcutta, and He is now in late 50s, early 50s actually. And his life is just like a vanaprastha, right? So vanaprastha means one who is focusing on spiritual aspects of his life rather than family or business. He viewed his business failure as divine intervention. So he never complained about his failure business. And Abhay thought that is the right time is now vanaprastha. I should spend more time for service of Krishna, for the preaching part. And he thought now that I will revive this Back to Godhead magazine again. So in 1952, he again revived his Back to Godhead. You remember we discussed about Back to Godhead. He wrote, first one was about in 1936. So after so many years, he is now thinking that he will publish again Back to Godhead. Almost 8-10 years or more probably. And he handled all aspects of magazine, reinforcing his commitment to promote spiritual values. And he had a lot of resistance within the family, his family was not happy with him at all. They were not cooperative. Despite familial pressures and criticism, Abhay remained unwavering in his spiritual commitments. He was determined. What he was determined? That no matter what happens, he will continue his preaching mission. He thought that family and friends were not understanding him spiritually, but he acknowledged that and continues his preaching mission. And again, it reminds that that first paragraph we read of Madhavendra Puri. What was the paragraph of Madhavendra Puri? The resolve, Let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. I do not mind. Expert in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Maimonites may point me out as a mad person. And the learned philosophers may assert that I am much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I am unable to do it. Here, this is exactly fitting the life of Abhay Charan. All the setbacks, all external, internal, surrounding, everything is a problem. But Abhay Charan is resolved. And his resolution is through writing his books. He continued writing. Even his writing got stolen, but he continued his writing desire. He published the books, published the literature. And still, his struggle is going on. It's no easy struggle, right? So here we ended today's session, which is today's session was an unknown friend. And unknown friend means this 6th chapter is Abhay Charan is an unknown friend of Mahatma Gandhi. Abhay Charan wrote a letter to Gandhi. He requested him that I'm your unknown friend. Please take up Krishna consciousness because life is real purpose is to understand Krishna, spend our energy for service of Krishna. Abhay Charan had firm belief that Krishna consciousness is the answer to all the problems. All the problems can be solved through Krishna consciousness. He's writing letters to everybody, but nothing is working out for Abhay Charan. Nobody. But he replied to Abhay Charan's letter. But Abhay Charan is continuing his mission. So with that, we will pause here on the 6th chapter of Prabhupada Lilamrita, and we will continue the study of Prabhupada Lilamrita next week again.